Once upon a time, in a realm of towering castles and whispering forests, lived a princess whose unmatched beauty captivated all. Her name was Snow White, a title befitting her flawless skin, pure as snow, with lips like crimson roses and raven black hair. She embodied grace and innocence, beloved by all, yet a looming threat within her home shadowed her peaceful existence. Snow White resided in the grand castle with her stepmother, the queen, a woman of regal bearing and elegant gowns. The queen, though outwardly stunning, harbored a heart as cold and dark as the deepest winter night, concealing profound jealousy. Central to the queen's obsession was a magnificent magical mirror, an enchanted artifact revealing profound truths. Every day, she approached its surface, uttering,
"Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all?"
The mirror, bound by magic, always reflected her image, confirming her supremacy, declaring,
"You, my queen, are the fairest."
Each morning, the mirror's words brought a fleeting smile to the queen's lips, a temporary balm to her insatiable ego. However, as Snow White blossomed into a radiant young woman, her unparalleled brilliance imperceptibly threatened the queen's reign. Then came a day unlike any other, shattering the queen's world of self-admiration, an icy dread gripping her heart. As she posed her daily question, the mirror's voice was different, definitive.
"Snow White is the fairest of them all."
The queen's breath hitched, her world crumbling as the undeniable truth echoed through the silent chamber, her ego shattered. Driven by dark intentions, the queen summoned the royal huntsman, a man known for his unflinching loyalty and skill. With cold authority, she delivered her chilling command. Take Snow White deep into the darkest forest, ensure she never returns. His heart heavy, the huntsman reluctantly led Snow White from the castle, the innocent princess unaware of peril. They journeyed deeper into the ancient, silent woods, sunlight fading as trees grew denser, creating an ominous atmosphere. Deep in the secluded forest, the huntsman's resolve wavered, seeing Snow White's pure innocence. His humanity overriding his orders, he realized he could not commit such a heinous act against such an unsuspecting soul. His voice barely a whisper, thick with urgency, the huntsman implored, "Run away and never return." Snow White, startled and bewildered, quickly realized her stepmother's ultimate betrayal and mortal danger. Panic seized Snow White, her innocent world shattered. With a terrified gasp, she turned and fled. She stumbled over roots, her hair snagging on branches, every rustle and shadow amplifying her fear. As the sun descended, painting the sky in hues of orange, Snow White's desperation intensified in the eerie twilight. Exhaustion weighed heavily, but fear of the queen's wrath spurred her onward. She was lost and vulnerable. Just as despair consumed her, a tiny light pierced the gloom, a renewed surge of hope in the dark forest. She pushed through bush, stumbling upon a small, charming cottage, a storybook dwelling offering refuge. Approaching cautiously, Snow White tapped softly. No answer. Driven by exhaustion, she gently pushed the door open. Inside, her eyes widened at 7 tiny chairs, bowls, and mugs, perfectly proportioned, suggesting unusual inhabitants. Beyond, she found 7 tiny, meticulously made beds, too inviting for her weary body, completely drained. Unable to resist comfort, she lay across several small beds, finding solace and succumbed to profound sleep. That evening, as twilight deepened, the 7 dwarfs, sturdy and hardworking, made their way home. They spent days toiling to unearth sparkling gems. Their footsteps crunched rhythmically, tools clanging softly. Upon entering, the dwarfs immediately sensed something amiss. They stopped short, surprised by a stranger. Gathered around the tiny beds, they discovered a beautiful young woman sleeping soundly and peacefully. The dwarfs' initial shock gave way to gentle curiosity.
"Don't be afraid. We are here to help you."
I'm so scared. My own stepmother tried to have me killed.
After her tragic story
don't know where
grumbled,
else
the
to
gracious
go.
dwarf surprisingly
will
softened,
protect you.
offering, "You can stay with us." Wise, the cautious dwarf warned, "But the queen may
careful
come
out
looking
there."
for you."
Ah,
Snow White promised carefulness.
I will, I promise.
Snow White began a new
Oh,
chapter
thank
in the
you.
cozy cottage, eagerly taking on chores and lending her cheerful spirit. She cooked, cleaned, and brought warmth. The cottage, once a bachelor dwelling, now brimmed with laughter and family. Far away in her cold castle, the evil queen, confident, approached her mirror with a smug smile.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all?
The mirror's reply was unexpected.
Snow White, it proclaimed, who lives safely with the seven dwarfs is the fairest of them all.
Her fury knew no bounds. Snow White still lived. This ignited a dark fire within her soul. Her existence felt threatened. She resolved not to rely on anyone, delving into forbidden arts to disguise herself. Her malevolent plan continued. She conjured a perfect, vibrant red apple, its skin glistening invitingly. With a wicked cackle, she infused it with a potent, terrible sleeping spell, a curse for eternal slumber. The outwardly beautiful apple was now a vessel of death, a poison lure meticulously crafted for her unsuspecting victim. Dressed in her disguise, the queen embarked on a treacherous journey through the dense forest, her heart burning. She arrived at the dwarf's cottage. With a sly smile, she raised a gnarled hand and knocked softly. "Hello, dear," she croaked sweetly, her voice thin and raspy, holding out the glistening red apple. She offered with deceptive kindness. Snow White hesitated, but the harmless old
this is
woman and tempting
delicious.
apple overcame her apprehension. She took a bite. As the deadly spell took hold, her eyes abruptly closed, and her body crumpled silently into profound, enchanted sleep. With a final triumphant glance, she disappeared into the shadowy woods, leaving Snow White motionless. When the dwarfs returned, their cheerful chatter ceased. They gasped, finding Snow White silent on the floor. Their hearts plummeted with grief. They cried out, shaking her gently, but she remained unresponsive, lost to eternal slumber. Overwhelmed by sorrow, the dwarfs made a poignant decision, laying Snow White in a magnificent glass case. They carried her deep into the sacred forest, placing the glass coffin where sunlight kissed her serene face. Amidst towering trees, the dwarfs maintained a mournful, constant vigil, visiting Snow White's glass
Awaken
coffin
from your
daily.
slumber,
Their hearts heavy,
princess.
they clung to fragile hope,
Our hope
always believing she would
remains.
awaken, breaking the enchanted spell. One fateful day, a noble, compassionate prince, renowned for kindness, rode through the ancient woods. His journey led him to the secluded clearing where a sleeping princess lay, radiant even in slumber. As the prince gazed upon Snow White's beautiful face, Prince leaned down, gently kissing her forehead, a gesture of reverence and hope. As his lips touched her skin, a spark of true love's magic ignited, challenging the dark enchantment. Suddenly, Snow White's eyelids fluttered, then her eyes slowly opened, blinking against the forest light. The powerful sleeping spell
happy
was
to see you
irrevocably
all.
broken. Snow White, disoriented, smiled gratefully at them, then turned to the kind prince, her rescuer. He knelt, offering his hand, his eyes filled with adoration and the promise of a safe, bright future. The prince gently took Snow White to his grand castle, where she would be safe and loved, free from malice. She never forgot her loyal dwarfs, often returning to visit her seven little friends, cherishing their deep
You
bond.
think you
The
can
evil
defy
queen's
me?
anger
You are
consumed
nothing but a
her,
child
shattering
playing
her
at
dark
games you do
magic
not
forever,
understand.
vanishing into thin air, never to return. Snow White lived happily ever after, a testament to kindness, courage, and true friendship, the most potent magic of all. And that's how Snow White found her happily ever after, through courage, kindness, and the friends who never gave up on her. If you enjoyed this magical journey, tap subscribe so you never miss another bedtime story. Let the music drift you into a peaceful sleep. Sweet dreams, little one.